what is up, guys? Playing a new game called Chaos Child. It's from the creators of Steins Gate, and the way I see it, that means one of two things. It's either going to be like Steins Gate 1, and it's going to be one of the greatest things ever made, or it's going to be like Steins Gate 0, and it's going to be a big ol' pile of shit that we can point and laugh at. Either way, I'm excited, so we're starting a new game. Let's get into this. I have no idea what this game's about, but it takes place in November, so you know it's a good game. And it came without warning, which is what ladies say to me all the time. Anyways, this is what a city looks like. You can tell it's a city because of the way that it looks. That's the giveaway. Whoop! I may have skipped that entire cutscene. Probably not important. But it was a magnitude 7.8 earthquake with an epicenter directly under the city, which means it was close. This disaster reduced one of Tokyo's busiest downtown areas to nothing in a single night. I mean, that's not nothing. I can see it. It's there. It's a thing. The high-rise buildings that had birthed so many trends and fads collapsed. That didn't collapse. It's still standing. As if giving up on their role in society, black fires spread throughout the city. Black fires? Fire's red, you silly. As individuals fell into the grip of the crowd psychology, their terror was magnified. Combined, all these things took many lives. Well, that sounds very sad. The final death toll was 3,851. Love the accuracy. The final number of injured, 30,927. This event would later be known as the Shibuya Earthquake. It's a fitting name, I love it. I don't know why my mouse cursor is yellow, that's a very ugly color, but whatever. Even in all that destruction, people still suffered the most in their hearts. Oh, I mean, sure, why not? Where else would they suffer, I suppose? Some who had lost their families came together to share new resolve, while others who'd been forced to watch their friends die were driven by guilt to take their own lives. Now it's actually sad. Suicide's not very funny. As a baby was miraculously reunited with his parents after 72 hours, I don't fucking care. A child in an evacuation shelter asked her dad, "When's mommy coming home?" He had no answer, because she had a new house with all the money she saved by switching to Geico. She was living somewhere way better, and he didn't know how to explain it to a baby, because they don't even speak English. How would they know? Some of the wounded made it to hospitals by looking at real-time updates on the web. Others saw people on the internet talking about the disaster as if it were a movie and were driven mad. What? I mean, it's the internet, so people are assholes. That's not new. Anyways, look, this building didn't collapse either. It's obviously still standing. A homeless man was saved from malnutrition by an organized volunteer group. Well, that was very noble. But at the same time, a middle school boy punched a self-centered volunteer who'd come to Shibuya to find himself in the face. I mean, okay, that's not a very good reason to volunteer, but he was helping. So, like, even if you did it for the wrong reasons, as long as you're helping, it's probably fine. It was the first time in that boy's life he'd ever been violent. Oh look, we got a news tip, PTSD, and now it's gone. The psychological toll was incredible, and many of the survivors would later manifest symptoms similar to those associated with PTSD, which is blue for some reason. The young were hit the hardest, and before long, the cause of those symptoms was given a name. PTSD, because it already had a name. Sorry, I mean Chaos Child Syndrome, which is the name of the game minus the word syndrome, which is weird because Chaos Child Syndrome is a better name. Chaos Child makes it sound like it's one child instead of a syndrome that affects many children. Rebuilding happened at a feverish pitch never seen before. Why? We've had to rebuild lots of stuff. It felt inappropriate to say, "Hang in there," because that's on a cat poster, but people felt somebody had to do something. I don't know what that means. Here's a river. The new slogan was, "Shibuya, a city reborn," and no amount of money or manpower was spared in aiding the endeavor. Anyways, the whole town was in the grip of a fever. Oh, they got sick. That's sad. In private, a leader of the redevelopment effort said, "This may sound unkind, but this frenzy feels like a town bearing its grief by holding a festival." Why? No part of that makes a lot of sense. Why would it sound unkind? It wasn't a festival. They were rebuilding the city that collapsed. What are you talking about? Anyways, building codes were rigorously evaluated with an eye towards earthquake engineering. Well, yeah, they died to an earthquake. Perhaps in an effort to emphasize the city's safety, security cameras were put up all over town. After all, if you see an earthquake, you can stop it, I guess? Shibuya would become a place where everyone could live in peace, unless there was an earthquake. Because cameras don't help that. But at the same time, a rumor began to spread about the earthquake. Something about this earthquake doesn't make sense. What? What part of it doesn't make sense? Exactly, please. Say more. There were no aftershocks, and the damage had spread in a strange way. What are you suggesting? A man-made earthquake? Harajuku, nailed it, and Ibisu, areas only a kilometer away from Shibuya, suffered only few casualties, and even fewer collapsed buildings. This damage pattern had never been observed in any prior earthquake, and so more than a few pundits claim the Shibuya earthquake must have been artificial. My sassy comment was right. Also, I'm loving how conspiracy theorist this is. It's feeling very Steins Gate 1, which I am into. Steins Gate 1 is a masterpiece. You should go watch it. It's really good. More than anything, though, some of the survivors all said the same things. What? That sentence doesn't make sense. Good job, everyone. I saw a white light. It's called the sun. I heard a sound like a ringing in my ears. It's called an earthquake. Hey, look. Too many people experience this for anyone to laugh it off. Well, yeah, it's called tragedy. It has general symptoms, but no cause of those phenomena was ever found. It's tragedy, it's grief, you know what I mean. It's just more evidence to those who believe something about the earthquakes had been wrong. So what, they gave everyone a phone call so they heard ringing before the earthquake? Yeah, that checks out. Anyways, Shibuya 107, great, I love that radio station. Then, 6 years after the strange earthquake, in 2015, man, we're going to the past. This game came out this year, by the way, so 2015 was like a fucking while ago. Something else was about to attract the attention of in the reborn city of Shibuya. A concert! Or some, I don't fucking know, tell me. Oh, it's this scary font. Ooh, look out! It's scary, Chaos. Oh god, ugh! Chaos Child! If you're a god and the delusion becomes reality, what kind of noise? About what the fuck did that say? About what kind of noids do you get? What's a noid? Am I dumb? Is this game dumb? Only one way to find out. It's September now. Oh wow, it's voice acted. And quite well, good job! Taking 3 minutes for questions, I don't know who we're talking about. What the fuck's happening? I don't know. Guess I don't have to do silly voices. The second he spoke, the comment box started to fill. What? What are we is this an... It's the internet. It's an internet thing. Yuma Utani watched it for a few seconds and then saw the request. When does Haru tell us she's dating someone? He smiled to himself. I don't know what any of that means. Just what he wanted. Ha! They fell right into his trap. Most of the requests were about hot actors or cute idols. His audience was so stupid it was easy to tell exactly what they were gonna ask. Man, he must be a smart guy. The problem was always whether the name that came up was someone he knew. That was a question of luck and of how popular they were. But Haru, her full name was Haruko something or another. Why even give us this if you don't know her last name? Haru, yeah, we could have guessed Haruko, that's like a full name. She was fine! Just a few days ago he'd forced himself to go to an event he'd rather have skipped and seen it for himself. Yep, Great. Satisfied, Utani got up to get some snacks like he always did. Already we're off to a riveting start. Pulse-pounding action, getting snacks. He lived in a one-bedroom condo located 8 minutes from Shibuya Station. Cost 150,000 yen per month. I don't know if that's a lot. It'd been built after the earthquake, so the furnishings and layout were modern. Great, I'm very happy for him. A little more room would have been nice, but compared to the 40,000 yen per month place he'd lived in last year, it was heaven. I mean, sure. I don't care. This is great. At 21 years old, Utani felt satisfied for the first time in his life. That's very sad. He lives a sad life, apparently. In 4th grade, he'd gotten big into online gaming and stopped going to school. Eventually, he'd stopped leaving his room altogether. I'd say that's pathetic, but he probably made a ton of money because Fortnite was huge and he was a Twitch streamer. Then he'd gotten addicted to drugs that made him sleepy but did nothing else. Why'd he pick such shitty drugs? That's my only question. There are a lot of cool drugs, like, drugs. Cough medicine. Once, seeing only darkness in his future, he'd planned to commit suicide. And we're back to the sad times. In the chaos after the earthquake 6 years ago, he'd finally managed to leave his room, but his family had already given up on him. I mean, there was an earthquake, so that doesn't really seem relevant. After he failed his entrance exams, he went to live on his own in Shibuya, and he hadn't spoken to his parents since. That's kind of sad. As far as they knew, he'd failed the exams 3 times in a row. In fact, he hadn't gone to the test after the first time. Why did he schedule 2 more? The world may never know. Maybe because he liked to waste everyone's time. Great! What a good protagonist. There wasn't anything he wanted to learn in college, then why'd he apply? Or any companies he wanted to work for badly enough, companies pay you. That's the main reason people work for companies. It's not because it sounds like a super fun time, it's because you need that cheddar to pay the bills. He had no goal in life at all. Anyways, now he's over here. Do you see? There he is. But things were different now.
アットちゃんにもたまには本当のことが書かれてるもんだ。チーズでいいか。
Oh, fuck yes, it's cheese time! So excited. He took a block of cheap cheese he bought at the supermarket out of the fridge. Just bite into it like a fucking Neanderthal. Usually he never ate anything this cheap. How does he have any money if he doesn't have a job? The world may never know. Maybe he robs banks. We don't know. We get a lot of news tips. I don't know how to look at those. Let's take a guess. I hit escape. That's not how you look at him. I'm out of ideas. But on Nikonia live streaming, it wasn't just what you said. How you looked when you said it also mattered. Oni wasn't a good-looking man. Oh, don't say that. Have some self-confidence. I think you're cute. Let alone a cute girl. He was just a plain old guy. 21 is not old, and so to keep his program popular, he whipped his dick out all the time. He needed to make them think he was poor. Barely managing to scrape by, in fact. Why? Because people like watching poor people? That's not real. Most of the douche tubers on the YouTubes are, like, pretend they're rich, right? Why not do that? That sounds better. Is he a streamer? That's why he kept the area around his PC and the parts of his apartment you could see with his webcam completely plain. Why not just hang a backdrop? That's generic. Make it look shitty. People will think you're poor. Or put on a necklace that says, I'm poor. That usually does the trick. Last month, he'd finally reached his goal of 4,000 viewers. It's sad. That's not a lot. I mean, I know those in glass houses, I don't have 4,000. But, like, it's still not a big number. For a man with nothing going on for him like Utani, this was extremely unusual. 3 months ago, he'd guessed the winners of a popularity contest a certain idol group was holding, as well as their total number of votes. That must have really paid off. Did he guess it exactly, or did he just guess generally? Because, like, I could guess. 12! Sasha wins! After that, his numbers had been going up steadily. Late last month, when his streamers had appeared at the top of Nikonia's page, he'd seen a huge increase. Right now, he'd gotten above 4,500, and it's quite possible he'd break 5,000 by the end of the month. You go, guy. I'm so proud of you. 5,000? That's a good number. I'm jelly. It was around late last year when he started to wonder about his power. Like electricity? Or does he have a superpower? There was a certain rumor on one of Atchan's occult boards that made him really start to realize what he had. What? The name he'd chosen for his stream subtly reflected this. Oh, he's like a superhero. I'm excited. Then I learned that I can see the future. That seems unlikely. He took out a knife to cut the cheese. You don't need to fart with a knife, dude. That's unnecessary. Anyways. There was a strange sound. If he could see the future, he'd know this was gonna happen. Why are you surprised you can see the future? Obviously, already fucking debunked. Liar. He thought he'd just imagined it when... They knocked again. I get it. They knocked again. Knock? Knock, knock, knock. He heard it again. Yeah, we were all there. This is great. We're doing so good. It was coming from the door. I mean, where else do people knock generally? Someone was clearly knocking on his door. Excellent analysis. Yes, we're doing so good. Anyways, maybe it's the jungle. Welcome to it, I suppose. Suspicious, he walked towards the door to answer, then checked the clock. It was 11:41 p.m. Not exactly normal delivery hours. Sure. You're not streaming, you're cutting cheese with a knife. Don't lie to me. He tried to ignore it. Why? At least look, but... Give me that sound effect again. Yes. Ugh. So immersive. The knocking continued. It was the same rhythm, at the same pace, almost as if it were the same person. As if the visitor's goal wasn't to come inside, but simply to make that sound. I know. I'm mad too. Utani felt a bit creeped out. He decided to go to the intercom camera to see who it was, but then realized that would be pointless. After all, why would you want to know who was knocking on your door? Only the auto-locking door on the first floor had a camera. The door to Utani's room on the 5th floor had an intercom, but no camera. It's too bad you couldn't ask who it was. Anyways, Utani gave up. Wow, how poetic.
用ならインターホン押せよ。
Can they just talk into your room? Because that sounds very disruptive. I wouldn't want that. Anyways, then he turned into a ghost and disappeared. And then they knocked on the door. Yes, we get it. We're all here. That's also not the right rhythm. There should be no comma here, but you tried.
払いか?
Okay, drunk people are not that articulate, so nice try, but you're wrong. No, the knocks were too steady for that. Wow, okay, look at that. I can see the future. I knew that line was coming. And there was no voice yelling at him to open up. Do you not have, like, a peephole at your door? Whatever. He'd seen this door a million times, but suddenly it looked somehow different. That may be the stupidest line I've ever read. Someone he didn't know was on the other side of the wall, demanding entry in the middle of the night. Somehow, this made the door seem intimidating. No, it didn't. That's stupid. Utney thought he might look through the peephole to see who was outside. Why? Let's open with that next time, my dude. He was then disgusted to find himself too scared to even get close to the door. Wait, the intercom didn't have a camera, but it did have a microphone. Yeah, that's how intercoms work. Of course it had a microphone. It's an intercom. It's just a microphone. He turned towards the living room so he could use the intercom to find out what they wanted. Wow, what a genius. And now it's bright. It needs me. Sorry to come by so suddenly. Great. He stopped when he heard that voice. Yeah, I would stop too, dude. It was a weird voice. It's me. I'm very sorry to bother you at this hour. Utney tried to remember who the speaker was, but found he couldn't. Well, that's exciting. But from the tone of the voice and the words, they probably weren't a weirdo, which is something you can tell based on the tone of someone's voice. When they said, I'm sorry, it sounded like they really meant it, which means they're not weird. Because that doesn't make sense. This guy sighs a lot. Utney sighed softly with relief, then realized he was still carrying the knife he'd been using to cut this cheese. Great, we can use it to kill this person. It suddenly felt stupid to feel so nervous. He quickly laid the knife on top of the sink. Oh, Utney's gonna die.
どちら様ですか?
Why are you opening it? You've obtained no information. You're still scared of it. Who is it? Oh, God. It's me. Don't you remember? I mean, I don't. The voice simply repeated itself. No, it didn't. Nobody ever said that. But great. But who are you? Utney whispered to himself as he opened the door. Please don't get killed, Utney. We've grown so attached to you. We're friends now. Stop sighing. I take it back. I hate you. Utney narrowed his eyebrows at the people standing there. There were several. He looked them up and down, then looked at their faces again. Their eyes met.
どこのどなた?
Uh-oh. That usually means something bad's about to happen. Oh, as does strobing lights. Utney suddenly felt a piercing headache. Oh, they've killed him. In the head, I suppose. Whoop! Utney closed his eyes and put his right hand up to his temple. He could feel the blood pounding in his veins through his fingers. He staggered and quickly put his other hand against the wall to keep from falling over. The pain was like the old days, when he'd overdosed on antidepressants, but much more intense. Well, he's probably fine. I'm not worried about him. He grit his teeth again. Again the pain. Wow, really off to a good start, already a typo, and dug his nails into the wall that was holding him up. As he waited for the pain in his fingers to help dull the pain in his mind. Whoop. Mr. Utney, are you okay? He heard a voice he'd heard many times before, I mean like twice, and felt a concerned hand on his shoulder. Alright, before we dig any deeper into who this mystery person is, I'm going to draw this episode to a close. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe. And be sure to let me know what you think of Chaos Child. And I'll see you guys next time.